Hello, and thank you for taking a part of your busy day to learn more about Health First and our commitments to customers in our community. My name is Yuta Williams, and I am privileged to serve as your Chief Compliance Officer. When I speak with team members and associates about what I do in my role as a compliance officer, I'm reminded of a great short story told to me as a child. In this story, a grandfather and his grandson are flying a kite on the beach. After running back and forth along the shore and working very hard to get his kite to fly, the little boy watches with pride as it dips and soars in the sea air. Once he catches his breath, he asks his grandfather, "Grandpa, what keeps the kite in the sky?" After some consideration, the grandfather replies, "Well, what do you think keeps the kite in the sky?" The boy says, "I think it's the wind, or maybe the kite's sails?" The grandfather responds by saying, "Well, certainly it couldn't fly without those important things. What I think keeps it in the air is the string you're holding." The little boy looks at the string and says quite sagely, "Oh, Grandpa, that isn't right. The string is what keeps the kite on the ground, not what keeps it in the air." "Well," says the grandfather, "let's let go of the string and see what happens." So the little boy does as his grandfather suggests, and the kite flutters about for a few seconds. He then watches horrified as it crashes to the ground. The grandson looks at his grandfather with awe and says, "The string is what keeps it in the air." The lesson I took from that story was that sometimes the very things that seem to hold us back or on the ground are actually the things that hold us up. That staying grounded is not the same thing as staying on the ground. This is true of many things in life, be they traffic laws that keep order on busy streets, clinical procedures designed to keep our patients healthy, or our personal ethics that help us decide right from wrong when rules don't exist to define our actions. We make choices every day about whether we accept the risk of speeding just a little bit or when deciding to return that extra change given to us by a cashier. Sometimes we choose whether we'll skip a tedious clinical documentation practice since it doesn't really make a difference to patient care. We weigh the potential outcome with the cost of doing something, right and wrong, hundreds, if not thousands of times every day. If you've ever had the joy of flying a kite, you've experienced the fear when the wind is pulling so hard that the string could break and carry it away. Conversely, you'll also know the panic of trying to bring in your string as fast as possible when the wind dies down and there is too little tension on the string and your kite is foundering in the sky. In that panic moment, we need to decide if letting out some string will reduce tensions and allow us to fly higher and straighter, or if we need to trim the line back a little to get back in safer flying altitudes. If rules, regulations, ethics, and known best practices represent the string that keeps our kite in the air, then my primary function as the compliance officer is simply that of managing the tension on that string and helping in those panic moments to know what to do when the winds get rough. Our business, that of healthcare delivery, is flying into increasingly stormy weather. The amount of change in our competitive marketplace and in the regulatory landscape is putting more tension on us to quickly change direction and to fly into some rather uncharted territory. Because of these shifting winds, it's difficult to know where in the rules or in our daily work there's flexibility and when there are hard and fast requirements. My job, and the job of those who work with me in compliance, is to help consult with our company's experts, you, to find out whether there's room to let out a little more string or maybe we need to reel it in a little. Our hope here in compliance is that you'll invite us to help you figure out what we should be doing as a company, to establish great care practices and also to meet our regulatory and ethical expectations, so that when the winds of change carry our kite into new skies, we're there to help us stay not on the ground, but grounded by our core values, our just culture, and doing what is right when adapting and changing to meet our 2020 vision. Please call or email us if you have any compliance questions or if you'd like to request a presentation on a compliance topic for your department. Thank you in advance for your commitment to doing the right thing and for being a partner with us here in compliance.